I'm not leaving this turned on, but I thought I'd just set up I have this little handheld radio which is on my belt and takes some getting off actually. How do you even do it? Oh, I got it. When you touch it, it makes it, the squelch breaks. See, you can see that. This is a Baofeng UV5R Mark III. And the ham radio 2 metre calling frequencies are 145,500, but there's what they call a repeater at Whitby on 145,600, which is a low one. As far as I know, it's monitoring both of those. There's 70 centimetre band. I don't think that's as good for longer distance, but I don't really know, because I haven't heard anybody on it yet. But that would be like 4 something. I think it's 430. They have a calling on there now. I did have it on that, but I thought I'd listen for this repeater. But that's at Whitby. It's too far away, but you might just hear. If someone was up this way, connecting to the Whitby repeater, you would hear that on the 145,600, I think. This is all something I used to do years ago to a point. I was never a ham, but we used to have CB radio. Then we got into like talking on skip CQDX in about 11 metres using single sideband. This is nothing like that, it's just an FM radio. But what I want as much as anything was to have the option that if I'm up the moor, or even here for example, we have no bloody mobile phone signal. If you start having a heart attack or something, you have the chance of calling for help. I don't know whether it will work or not. But if you at least can try, can't you? You've got better than nothing, because you know that you could try shouting your head off. See if that would work. I think you were trying to scare the geese. That covers off, back off, on again. The other one doesn't seem all that bothered. But anyway, something else you can do is have it scanning, which I maybe do actually. It's locked at the moment. Hang on.
Unlock.
Unlock. That said unlock. She's China girl says unlock the keypad. That's that button. Press this one.
Scanning begin.
And it just rapidly scans through. And we can actually see those numbers changing. But it goes at a hell of a speed. This is a surprising thing. It doesn't really find anything. I think it may be scanning channels there. Hang on a sec.
Frequency mode.
Yeah, 433,500. That's a 70 centimetre calling band.
1, 4, 5, 5, 0, 0.
So now it's on. As far as I know, it's now monitoring the 70 centimetre calling band and the 2 metre calling band, calling channel, calling frequency. But I don't know if they're even any real use here. In the past, you see, I had a scanning. It was actually a Yaesu 100B or something, a proper ham radio, but I just used to listen and I never transmitted on it. And it was quite active. There was definitely people who I assume were in Middlesbrough, but then I had a big area on the house, you see. This obviously won't be that good, but you would still pick people up if you were up the moor a bit. But again, that was probably on sideband. It's so long ago, I barely remember what I was doing. It would be like 1980. I tell you when it was when I broke my leg on my bike in 1986. And I was a bit interested in it before that, because I couldn't do lots of. I spent like a year or two playing about on radio, quite a lot. Looks like they're going to be working on the cricket pitch again today. So it's just making those clicky noises. So it's in frequency mode. Now I press scan.
Scanning begin.
And it doesn't go so fast. Before it was scanning channels. But I only had about 3 programmed in. So now it's scanning, but it's going in 5 kilohertz increments. Is it 5 or 0.5? I'm not sure. Quite a sensible speed. It'll get some clicky noises. Whether it'll actually pick anyone up, I don't know. It might. Because at Castleton, they're doing bridge work, and they might be using these frequencies. There are some you can use, you see. So we'll just leave that there. I'm going to switch off. Right, this is the first stage. I've just roughly separated things so they clear the wall. And luckily, in this instance, the foundations are actually quite okay. Sometimes you have to dig right down to the ground. It's possibly moved a little bit further along, but there's a reasonable base there already I can build on. I might try and step it in a bit so I get better stability. So it's just kind of bulged out. You can see, I mean, you know, if you're going to be fussy, you could have taken it right back there, because this is leaning. But it could stand another 50 years as that, so I'm not going to touch it. But when one bit's fall down, you often get the next bit's not too good. But in fact, there's a big through stone there. See, this is a proper traditional dry stone wall, if you like, with lots and lots of fillings and a few through stones. We don't really do through stones here particularly, because the type of stone doesn't suit it. You get, that's one there. That could be one, but it hasn't been used as one. And that's one there. It's always distracting here. You get loads of bikes going past on the road. That's a big chuffler. The radio is still blipping away because it's still scanning quite slow, and so it hasn't found anything at all yet. I think I might put it on FM. You can get FM radio music and things. So I'll just shut this off, and when I've got a bit more of a start to my building, I'll have another short record. It's interesting that when I turn this camera on, the radio chips, we've got about halfway up now. I've got one big through stone in. There's a possible couple more there. At least one more anyway. And I keep getting spectators. The one over there, I'm supposed to be due to calve about July, appears to be bulling. You sometimes get this when they first go out. Because they're on the good going in the grass, they start to show bullying on things they didn't show before. But I'm sure she is bullying, because there was a load of clear slime pouring out. I did have a suspicion about her about a month ago. Well, I can't do her tomorrow, even if she was at home, because I'm going to market with the calves. Which is a nasty, aggressive one to start with. She's about the biggest cow I have, and she could be really nasty. That one there, directly in front of the small calf, she was just let out yesterday. I actually didn't either fall over in the beck or go in a deep bit. It's alright, well, it looks like it's been wet. It might just have been laid in wet grass or licked all over. I don't know, it didn't look sopping wet, but it looked damp. Yeah, I'm sure I'd have enough stones, but I seem to be using a lot of small ones, and I've got a lot of big ones left. I shall manage. End up a bit funny at the end, maybe. Alright, after about an hour, I should think, maybe a bit longer. We're getting on towards top stone phase. I'm not exactly pleased with it. Up from here, I mean, really the whole wall's a bit, it has this sort of free and easy style. It's not particularly like coursed. What's interesting is a lot of stones like this one, which have clearly been at least prepared to put in another building. There's another. There was, you see the barn over there? That's the last surviving building of a little farmyard there. And there was even at least one house, but it was quite a rough old thing, so I think it could be part of the house that was demolished sometime when they've done they realigned these fields. They were much more random originally, and there was like ditches running across at an angle, which are now where there's some drains, including like there where that is, a little wet spot there which isn't wet. There's a drain goes along and down this side of this wall. From there, you see that little slack spot there? It still runs that actually, but it tends to be a bit wet there. Anyway, I don't really put aside my top stones, I just see them as I come to them and don't use them basically. So we shall hopefully have enough top stones there. Or we can borrow odd ones from elsewhere, because there's odd ones on top like there where they've been either left over from previous repairs or picked up from the field. So it's already enough to stop the cows going over, but I'll finish it. So that's it after about nearly 2 hours. I mean, to be honest, you wouldn't see that was different from further on, except I've got them stones left there, which is usual. On 6, 7 stones, I might just put them on top. It's a tiny bit lower, that's it, you can just see where they've come from. And I've stepped it in a bit because I didn't have enough fillings. That's perfectly reasonable. It looks like from the other side, there's no stones there. So it's just slightly down a little bit there. I'll put that thinner one on top. Because it's a bit like that all the way along, there's odd stones on top. I think those are oyster catchers. There's supposed to be so many, they're tweeting on about how many birds have missed it. We've never had so many fucking birds. They're oyster catchers, which we never saw at all until maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I saw them, I didn't know what it was at first. I've seen them in Scotland though. And we had an awful lot of curlews. Perhaps I haven't seen so many this time as we had last year. There was loads last year. There's a white barn owl lives in that barn, another one in my barn's home. That is definitely an oyster catcher. It's a sort of wader. What they're doing here, I don't really know. Then curlews are waders and snipe. Anyway, I'll just finish this.